This is the main entrance
To the
to the H.T. Sampson Library. This is the main library and it has 5 levels. There's this technology level over there.
It's so good to see you, so beautiful.
Thank you. And this is my son. You were here. You've been here a long time, have you not?
I've been here 12 years.
And it was 2011.
Okay.
2011 when Cliff, my son, and Dr. Henry Sampson Jr. were here, and you were behind
Yes,
that
ma'am.
desk,
Yes,
and he
ma'am.
said, "This is H.D. Sampson's son." Began to have shows with the posters that are on the wall here in the main entrance of the library. They would share posters and do professional shows and travel to universities, private exhibitions. And none of his things were for sale. It was all meant to come here. And many of these things are the only one. It's one of a kind. And I'm just amazed to see that it has been preserved like this. And they did a wonderful job. Now I understand why it took so long, but it was time well spent. I see that. It was well spent. A man's destiny, Professor. Look at this. All of these things, I thought they would be gone. I just didn't know what to expect. But I see that the university, not only did they do it, they did it right.
with this collection for quite some
And
time. So,
I want to thank you.
yeah, so I appreciate it. But we want that second half so I can go and get this completed.
Yeah, you know what? It's done.
Okay, I
Because
appreciate it.
I see
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah.
And
And like I said, tried to make
Somebody
sure.
will come to California.
Exactly. And they'll have their hands full. They will have a handful.
So everything we put on exhibit are duplicates.
All right, but now downstairs when you came in, and the library was inundated. It was just beautiful. It was over.
They're all duplicates.
It was over.
Those are all duplicates.
I'm gonna show you where we put the original.
I made little programs. I put blank pages in there to give it,
That's
make it
cool.
look like a program, you know, so.
Yeah.
Dr. Druckery.
She's the dean of the library.
Hi, Dr.
Hello.
Tell me her name.
Pleasure to have
Mine
you
is
with us.
Darlita Ballard. I'm a university archivist.
And
Oh, yes.
she archived these things. Correct. Picking up the
Now, I
boxes.
had help. I don't want to take all the credit
Well,
myself.
you were
I did
ahead of
have
it, though.
help. I have a co-worker named Crystal Brown who also assisted with the preservation of this collection. We also had through a grant another intern person named Kenan Brown. So I do want to give them credit. They did also assist with this process.
And it was fortunate, we actually had a grant before we received the Sampson collection. And it was for preservation.
Yes.
And the proposal that we wrote was for another collection.
Uh-huh.
But we finished that early.
Yes.
Finished it way under budget.
Oh, great.
And we asked them, we have just received something, can we maybe continue
Piggyback on this.
the grant with this? And they said, sure, we're okay with that.
Yeah, and so that's where the freezer came in at, and some of the supplies on that. Also, I wanted to show you where your originals are because I
Yes.
know you were concerned
Yes, I was.
about where those originals
And I'm
are.
sorry that happened. I don't, we don't know anything about that.
Well,
But rest
Now-
assured.
It's just fine.
Rest
now,
assured.
now the ones that you
It's just fine.
the ones that you
very
see out
satisfied.
here on the
Yes.
walls, the ones downstairs, and the ones out here in frames, the Development Foundation paid for those to be duplicated, and that's what's in there,
All right.
in the frame.
So somebody.
All of your originals, starting here, and I have them, the numbers first, and I have everything in here, alphabet size, A, all the way down to
They're
Z.
all in
order,
individual
and we have-
acid-free folders.
That's correct, and we have labels on them. This is 187, then we start with A, and they kind of go down from there. So everything here is ordered by title. And I have it only a few in each,
Look at
about
this.
10 to 15
Sydney.
in each. It's a piece of the action is the title to this one.
The co-porter?
And again, all of these were
These are the
measured.
originals.
These are your originals. Because if you notice,
my
we
God.
have this one. You see the size of this one?
Yes.
This one was blown up to the actual 42 by 72 size
they're hanging
that
in
you
the-
see hanging. Some of these were not actually 42 by 70. They were smaller in size, and what they
Some
did
were,
is blow them
Some were
up.
made smaller, some were, so the posters would all be the same size.
That's
So
correct.
That's why they kind of, played around with the
That is
dimensions.
wonderful.
So everything you see that you were concerned about
Yes.
is actually here. It's never left the library. The only thing
That's great.
that happened that they did, we did send them out
Yes.
to be duplicated, and that
Okay.
was, and Mr. Hort worked with that process when we did this.
All right.
But we received everything back. I had an inventory of everything that went out to make sure that I received everything back. So, again,
The originals are
these
here.
are your originals.
Oh,
And
yay.
you will see stuff on this wall. I can show you this same thing in here
Yes.
as your original. So, no, we
That is
just
wonderful.
duplicated everything.
Look at
All of the
this.
ones in frames are duplicated.
It is
See,
wonderful.
here's black gold. We have another black gold, but that's
Yes,
a duplicate.
yes.
The
And
black six.
I'm glad, Dr. Druckery, the university saw to it that there was money in the grant and that it could be used. And the timing,
Right.
as far as I'm concerned, is just right.
Way down south, way down yonder. Welcome home, Brother Charles.
Alphabetized.
Yes, I have actually, we went through and made sure that everything here, and this is X logo, but we put Malcolm so
Malcolm's,
that,
yeah.
right, and I put it
Could
in
I see
X.
that?
Yeah, let's
Could
read.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Cliff, would you get this part of, this is Henry's original manuscript
Manuscripts.
of blacks and black and white.
Yeah, and I was showing her the preservation method. We do have the acid-free, lignin-free paper, and
You
we
see, David
separate the
Hoy
items
talked about
between
that
this.
all the
And
time.
we also have the labels, and it'll show you these are materials that was in that binder. And I told her we kept all the materials from the binder together in the collection. So we started with A and just went through Z, and actually it's 3 boxes on that. So I labeled them based on how we organized them and based on how they came in a collection, because we didn't want to separate it and then we didn't know the significance of why he did it like that. So we wanted to keep it how he had it.
Exactly, because he was
And so-
very exact. And there was a
Exact.
reason to the reason.
Right, and I didn't know that, so I wanted to try to keep it together as a whole,
Exactly.
and that's
I
what I
appreciate
did.
that. Look
And
at
that's
that.
why I put materials in binder.
Oh, yes.
And so you know exactly where this came from. Those are the
Those are the
LPs.
33s, huh?
Right, and,
Oh my
and
gosh.
we did place them in new sleeves. We have to do labels, so we're
Yes.
still working on the
Yes.
labels for those.
Yeah.
However, we did do the measurement to purchase them so that they would be preserved correctly and archival, acid-free.
Where did you get these actual boxes
We,
from?
we went to Gaylord. Gaylord and is a archival company.
Okay.
That we normally will purchase archival materials
Right.
from. And there's 1 or 2 other companies also out there that's specific to archival material.
Right.
So what we do is kind of cross-check and see which one is the best deal and then use them.
Yeah, and all of these are under lock and key. You have to be in the
Yes.
key
Yes.
in order to get up to this floor
Yes.
even.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
What is it?
This one is the March of Dimes 53.
That's that's bigger than the 33. So what is
Right. It is a 33 and 1/3.
that? Oh, okay.
And the other ones are 16.
Oh, okay.
You have 16 and then you have 8. So you got to actually measure them based on their size. And again, these are archival.
And those are very old.
These are very old.
1953.
And we have
And
some
I'm
of
part of
them.
March of Dimes today.
Yeah.
I was 6 years old when it
Right. And so we have
I love the March of
everybody,
Dimes.
yeah.
order. And we have 7 boxes based on the sizes, but all of these are sound recordings, LPs. These again are all in
We hold it for
archival.
you and you can,
In archival
Oh, we can sit it up
sleeves
here.
with, right, archival sleeves with the labels on them, and they're actually inside archival preservation. So all of them are alphabetical, and we have the titles the same way we do the large size posters, and we have them A through Z.
And then you don't have to worry about
through the collection.
Okay, now you don't have to worry about if someone is looking at it, because the way that
Right,
it's folded,
plastic over
you don't have to
it.
worry about it if it's held and it falls out, because it's the
Right,
sleeve
it
is
locks
made
it in.
specifically
Wow.
for those to lock it in place.
right now, if there were people who wanted to come, they would call the librarian and ask for a,
They,
An
that's
appointment.
make an
correct.
appointment
We
to
make
have
an
a showing.
appointment, and what we can do is we will pull the information out into the reading room, which is next to us.
Okay.
And we will have that appointment set for whatever time they need to come in, pull the
Yes.
material out that they're requesting, and have them come up and look at it.
Yes.
But we were working with faculty at one point to try to get where the collection, the faculty will come in and bring classes
Oh,
to
yes.
actually get them specific to the collection. Like, I know there was some issues here recently about black and black face, but people don't know the history behind
Exactly. And the
that,
history
we
is right
have,
here.
right, and we have some of that
need
material
to
here,
understand
and so
what
we
it
wanted
really
to
was.
faculty to kind of get involved
Exactly.
with bringing their students in to
That's
do
right.
research.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
I
all we
posted that
have
this
is
morning.
what's
And
next.
I actually have that part at the end of my speech about how we want this collection to be used not only by students, faculty, staff, and administrators and community, but for research purposes
Yes.
to actually find out the history of the collection.
Yes.
And actually know what during that time from back in the 1800s up to present went on, and then how they even were made, because some of these have different paintings or different paper or different format on how it's in each container.
Right.
That's different than how they do things today. So it would be good for art. The sheet music would be good for the music. So
History.
exactly history. So English.
That-
So there's a variety of things that this collection can be used for, and that's what we want to do down the line is bring people in. We were going to set that area up in the front to actually kind of make it like an area where we can bring students in and have teachers and classes where they can actually go through and kind of see the items, know what it's about. And if we don't, like I said, use the original, what we would probably do is make duplicate
Yes,
prints
yes,
of
absolutely.
it prior to the class. That's
Yes.
why we want to do it
And
by
that's
appointment.
exactly
That way
what-
we won't
yes, that's what
disturb
we
the
want.
originals.
Right.
But
That's
we
what
will
we
keep
want.
the originals intact, but still allow access to it.
That's good.
And that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Saying let's be okay with having a conversation, you know, and you know, this generation, I think we are all a little sensitive with certain
Exactly.
things, and so it has been okay with. It's okay to have a conversation,
Yeah.
and it's okay to see different point of view.
You know, Spike Lee made a movie. The what is it? What is the name of that movie that he made with the black face? And I'll say you have a poster here. At least we have it at home.
Right.
Where they were talking about blackface. It's interesting.
Bamboozled?
Bamboozled.
Yes.
Yeah, and we should. You know, we're talking about it's current in the media, or at least as of
Right.
this month or last month.
Yes.
You know.
And then the amazing thing is, you got people, designers in the past, like the 80s, like Patrick Kelly, they used blackface in
Right.
his design.
Right.
But it wasn't spoken.
It wasn't a hot topic.
It was a hot topic.
Right. Yeah.
Until the 21st century.
It's hot
22.
now.
It's hot now.
Right.
Well, it'll be hot, and then next week
Yes,
something
yes.
else will be hot.
Exactly.
Students need to understand
Yeah, yeah.
that there's a history here, and it's a history that's told by an African American man. And
Yes.
Henry is considered the executive of this kind of material.
Yes.
Yeah, he
When
knows
people
it.
want to do research, doctoral research, they come to him. It's
Right.
in Europe, the books are everywhere. Yes.
Again,
yes.
by
Look at
the
that, look at
title.
that.
But what we did is cut out the acid-free, lignin-free, and we separated them in between so that you know
What did he-
this
what
is
did he-
at the Waters and Dudley. And again,
Classic
we
writing. What is that
right.
Henry's writing? Probably not.
Ethel Waters.
And Eddie Dudley.
Let me see the S. Yes. That is his writing. No, the more he got into writing, the less you could tell what he was writing.
This is the tape that we use to seal the canisters closed right here. This is 3mm scotch. We sealed them around here once we put them in. And then we placed them inside the Mylar sleeves.
Yes.
And then we sealed and made sure that even with the angles that we got them
preserve them.
appropriately so that no air can get in. And we sealed these and taped them all together. And then we had each one labeled. So what I did is I put them in the freezer based on size but by alphabet. Like it's about 10 or so on each row, and then I have rows listed, and they start from the back and then go down, and then I come back to the next row and go right back
I
down.
see, I
So I
see.
got them organized.
I see.
So when I say, for instance, if it's an emergency and we do have to pull them, then I'll know specifically what row, what part of the freezer to pull it from. So I have everything organized, like second shelf. I go down to the second shelf. This is what's on my second shelf. Here, and go down
We're
here.
not going to open it now.
But I was I have photos that I can see.
Right,
so
and
you
see,
can
I have
see.
the locks on
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
and the reason I did that is because when you're doing freezing of a preservation,
Yes.
you don't want to keep opening up and
closing,
down
yeah,
the
you're
freezer
changing.
because then you're changing the temperature,
course, and it was
which
just like
could
baking a cake.
actually mess with the preservation of the material. That's why we made sure that they were on digital prior to freezing. That way we wouldn't have to be taking them out. Because if you can only, if we do have to take them out, you can only take them out a lifespan of 2 or 3 times.
Yes,
that's
and
it,
then that
because you'll
it'll destroy 'em.
if you don't.
Yes, but you transfer them to digital.
Yes.
Yes, but see, that's
Wow.
on University, the Development Foundation had that done on Mr. Hort at
David
Crawford
Hort said he
Media
was doing that.
in Atlanta, Georgia. That's
He
correct.
told us that
and
that
when
was
they
going
came
on.
back, they went to University Communications.
Okay.
So they have them. We hadn't received them over here
Okay,
yet,
okay.
but they do have them, and they were done.
Excellent.
So we had that done prior to us freezing them because
Yeah.
all of this actually went out to Crawford Media and then they returned it to me. When they returned, it turned in boxes like that. I had packed them in
Yes.
cases and had them evenly done with bubble paper
yes.
in there to keep them from shifting around. So when everything came back, they did have on there that one box didn't,
That, yes.
right,
And
they
I-
were not able to do anything
Yes.
with.
I asked
and
her
we're
to
gonna
send me
return
that because I would like to keep that. Because when people are asking, they can't always see the video or the DVD, but I can show them that and say, it's all like this, except these were gone.
Right.
And that's
exactly.
that's a lot of information.
Right, but this is again to continue. At the very bottom of the shelves on this side, what I did is put the larger 32, 33, the bigger size, and what I did is I put them together and then I also did them by alphabet, as you see here.
Pictures of it. Oh my God! Thank you for being here. And you're in Omega.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
is Henry. He started with the Omega at Purdue. And then